Stoicism is an ancient school of philosophy that teaches us how to live a life that is both virtuous and fulfilling, regardless of the circumstances we face externally. One of its core teachings is that we must focus only on the things we have control over and release our attachment to what lies beyond our control. This concept becomes especially meaningful when we're faced with challenging people and tough situations. Everyone, at some point or another, has to deal with difficult individuals or uncomfortable scenarios. It might be a coworker who is consistently rude and disrespectful, a family member who criticizes us constantly, or a customer who comes across as unreasonable and overly demanding. No matter what the situation is, such encounters often bring a great deal of stress and emotional strain. However, the philosophy of Stoicism encourages us to understand that we don't have to let these people or circumstances dictate our emotional responses or disturb our inner peace. By putting Stoic ideas into practice, we can begin to manage our responses better and handle things in a more composed and reasonable manner. One of the most well-known Stoics was Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor. He was a thoughtful and compassionate leader who faced a multitude of trials during his reign. In his personal writings, known as Meditations, Marcus reflected on how he employed Stoic philosophy to manage interactions with difficult people in complex situations. He once wrote, "If you run into someone who is disagreeable, remember that he is acting according to his own character and judgment. He cannot act otherwise. Do not be angry with him for behaving according to his nature. Instead, pity him for not possessing a better one." This passage serves as a reminder that we shouldn't allow ourselves to become angry or disturbed by those who act in unpleasant ways. They are merely acting in alignment with their own disposition. Rather than responding with resentment, we should feel compassion for their inability to be better. Another Stoic thinker, Epictetus, also explored how to approach difficult individuals. Once a slave, Epictetus became a respected philosopher. In his discourses, he wrote, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." This teaches us to remain open-minded and willing to learn from others, even if those individuals are difficult or abrasive. If we're wise enough to do this, we can often draw valuable insights even from our most trying interactions. In this video, we will explore some of the essential Stoic principles that can be applied when navigating challenging relationships or situations. We'll also offer clear examples and actionable advice on how to incorporate these ideas into your daily life. My hope is that by watching this video, you'll be better equipped with the resilience and strength needed to face any difficult person or circumstance that crosses your path. Dichotomy of control. One foundational concept within Stoicism is the dichotomy of control. This principle invites us to clearly differentiate between what lies within our control and what does not. We can control our own thoughts, actions, and responses, but we have no control over the behavior of others, the outcomes of external events, or the forces of nature. By internalizing this idea, we can remain composed and centered, even in the face of challenging people or stressful situations. Understanding that there is little value in getting upset over things we cannot influence allows us to redirect our energy toward what we can control, namely, our attitudes and how we choose to respond. Virtue is the only true good. Another vital Stoic belief is that virtue is the only true good. This means that our primary aim in life should be the cultivation of personal virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. Material things like wealth, recognition, or power hold no true value in themselves. When we place our focus on nurturing our own virtues, we become stronger internally and less susceptible to being disturbed by difficult people or events. We begin to see that our happiness stems not from external validation or conditions, but from the character we develop within ourselves. Everything happens for a reason. Lastly, Stoicism teaches that everything happens for a reason. This doesn't imply that everything that occurs is good or pleasant, but rather that all events have a purpose and ultimately serve our growth. By embracing this view, we can remain optimistic and steady even when adversity strikes. We begin to see troublesome individuals or situations as opportunities for learning and self-improvement. We can also trust that, eventually, things will unfold in a way that serves our long-term well-being. Practical advice. Now that we've explored some of the key Stoic ideas, let's turn to specific examples and practical strategies for applying them when faced with difficult people or scenarios. Example 1. A critical coworker. Imagine you're working on a project with a coworker who constantly critiques your work, and you're starting to feel frustrated and disheartened. Here, the dichotomy of control is key. You cannot change how your coworker behaves, but you can choose how to react. Instead of becoming upset, focus on strengthening your virtues. Consider whether there's any truth in their feedback, and if so, use it constructively to improve. If their criticism is unwarranted, simply disregard it. Believe that this situation may be happening for a reason. Perhaps it's here to teach you patience, emotional resilience, or how to manage difficult personalities. Try to view it as a moment for personal growth. Example 2. A rude customer. Now picture yourself in a customer service role, dealing with a rude and demanding client. Your initial reaction might be anger or resentment. Again, remember the dichotomy of control. The customer's behavior is beyond your influence, but your reaction is entirely your own. Use this as a chance to embody virtues like patience and professionalism. Even in the face of disrespect, your calm demeanor demonstrates your commitment to service and emotional maturity. And once again, reflect on the idea that there may be a greater lesson here. Perhaps this is an exercise in staying composed under pressure. Example 3. A critical partner. Now imagine being in a relationship with someone who is often negative or overly critical. This may leave you feeling emotionally drained or unhappy. In this situation, it's essential to recognize that your partner's behavior is not yours to control, but your response is. Focus on your virtues by staying positive and offering support, even in the face of negativity. Doing so reaffirms your strength and independence. Perhaps this relationship is presenting an opportunity to learn how to set healthy boundaries and care for your emotional needs. Consider it a stepping stone to greater self-awareness and growth. Dealing with emotions. When we're confronted with difficult individuals or circumstances, Stoics advise us not to let emotions dominate us. We should aim to remain balanced and reasonable. One powerful tool for doing this is mindfulness, the practice of being fully present and non-judgmental in each moment. When we're mindful, we become more aware of our feelings and can choose how to respond instead of reacting impulsively. Another method is cognitive restructuring, which involves examining and reshaping our negative thoughts. When faced with distressing emotions, we can ask ourselves whether our thoughts are accurate or helpful. If they are not, we can consciously replace them with more rational and empowering beliefs. Not taking things personally. Stoicism teaches us that we should not take the negative actions of others personally. Their behavior reflects their own character, not ours. To avoid internalizing their negativity, remind yourself of the dichotomy of control. Though you cannot influence their actions, you can choose not to let them affect you emotionally. Another way to avoid taking things personally is to practice compassion. When we try to understand the struggles or pain that others may be experiencing, we're less likely to feel hurt by their behavior and more likely to respond with empathy. Feeling overwhelmed or powerless. In moments when we feel overwhelmed or helpless, Stoics remind us that we always have the power to choose our mindset and reaction. Even when we can't change the situation itself, we can still take ownership of our thoughts, behaviors, and perspective. To regain a sense of control, focus on small, manageable actions within your power. Remind yourself of past challenges you've overcome, and draw strength from those experiences. You are often stronger than you realize. In this video, we've looked at some of the key Stoic ideas that help us better handle difficult people and situations. We've also gone over practical examples and advice to show how you can apply these insights in your everyday life. My hope is that this discussion has given you a clearer understanding of how to approach challenges with calmness and reason. Always remember, you can't control the behavior of others, but you can control your response. By focusing on what is within your power and by living according to Stoic values, you can develop greater inner strength and resilience. Challenges can become opportunities for personal growth. Each difficult interaction holds a lesson if we're willing to look for it. By facing obstacles and learning from them, we grow into better versions of ourselves. Here are a few additional suggestions for dealing with tough people or situations. Set clear boundaries. Let others know what is and isn't acceptable to you. Be assertive, but respectful. Take breaks. When things get too overwhelming, step away for a moment. Go for a walk, listen to music, or engage in something you enjoy. Talk to someone. Sharing your experience with a friend, family member, or therapist can help you process emotions and develop healthier coping strategies. Always remember, you are not alone in facing life's difficulties. Everyone deals with challenging people and experiences. What truly matters is recognizing your ability to manage your response. By embracing Stoic principles, you can become more resilient and more centered. Even the most difficult moments become stepping stones for personal transformation. Thank you for watching this video on Stoic advice for handling difficult people and situations. I hope you found the content useful. If you have thoughts to share, please leave a comment below. I'd also love to hear your personal stories or experiences in navigating difficult encounters. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to share this with friends or family members who may be struggling with similar challenges. What are your views on this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I will personally read all of your comments. And if you seriously want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Stay strong. Until next time.